Having eliminated the ridges that had occurred from my pencil lines that were used for guidance in the feather flow, it's time to take a look at any of the areas that need to be split up. This would be anywhere that I can lay the ceramic stone on and still leave a split line. In addition to that, I'll be adding other detail, splitting up and showing some depth in these feathers. You want to do this evenly, and I see quite a few areas. Say, I don't know if this is visible in the camera, but there's no line here, there's no line here. There's a lot of areas I need to pick up and get those lines taken care of. Once that's in, then I can start adding my splits. So I'm just going to begin. We'll run this for as long as my video goes, and hopefully it'll last. Again, my Power Hand 3 by Geschwin, the 1/16 inch white ceramic stone, which is a tapered cone. I'm going to attack some of these areas in here that don't have any texture in some areas. So anywhere I can lay my texturing stone and add more lines, the better the detail is going to appear. Don't want to have a bunch of smooth areas. That's only going to show shine. Breaking up the surface of the wood is key to eliminating shine. It's breaking up the surface and reflecting the light off into different directions. When a bird is completely smooth, if you're not using a matte-based paint, come dry matte, you're going to see a lot of shine going on. So breaking up the surface of a piece will make it look softer. It's nice just to have a demonstration piece that I don't have any competitive aspirations for. It takes the pressure off. It gives me the time to do what I'd like to do under the camera. I hope that the videos that I make are helping people venture into areas of wildfowl carving that they hadn't tried before. It can be very exciting going into a decorative when you've never done anything but a smoothie or a hunting decoy. Start studying and paying attention to the live bird. It's also really important that you don't rely completely on other artists' renditions, whether they're paintings or carvings. That's not reference material. That is an artist's rendition. And they could be wrong, and you may be making the same mistakes that they made inadvertently if you haven't spent the time studying photos of the live bird or the live bird itself in the field or at the zoo. You can go to your museums of natural history, which generally will have their own collection of bird skins, showing colors and details that you can't pick up in photos. Although, with Google Images and the filters that you can apply to Google Images, you can pretty much find anything you want, detail-wise. Be specific in your searches. If you want to see the underside of a mallard bill, drake bill, then type into Google underside of mallard drake bill and click search. Then go to images and you're going to see all kinds of images of specifically that. Don't be afraid. You don't have to just put mallard in there. It's the same for every kind of bird species. Some are, there aren't going to be as many photographs of a rare bird as there would be of a wood duck or a mallard drake, but you can specify in your searches specific attributes you're looking for in these photographs. You want a mallard drake resting, you want a mallard hen preening. All of these labels are added to the photos that are on the internet, and you add these little tags and keywords to your searches and you can come up with a whole lot more choices of photos to look at. The other thing I do is there's a feature, search options, and you click on that and you can specify the size of the image. If you specify a size of the image that is large, you're going to see more high definition photos that you can zoom in to that finer detail and see things that you don't see in lower resolution images in smaller formats. So switch over to large. If you don't find enough, then go ahead and take it off a large, but be smart about your searching when you're looking for reference material. If you're not finding what you need by calling it a common loon, then maybe you should be searching under the Latin term for the bird, which would be Gavia immer, for a common loon. And you're going to find a whole set of other photos that are probably more reference-like or from another country that uses the Latin terminology for the bird names. You can also try the different nicknames that a mallard would have, a greenhead, or I've heard for canvas backs. There's little nicknames that we all use, and that's another way to search when you're not finding the photos that you really need to answer the questions that you have. And the best is having a specimen, and that is possible with the duck species, but when it comes to songbirds and birds from other countries, it's very difficult to, or illegal, to even own or possess those skins or that bird. So there are challenges that we have to get past to be able to have the information we need to carve our birds realistically. You can see here these lines on the left side of the underside of the head are just straight lines. I've come back on this side and broken them up. So I'm going to come and do that here. My next step after this will be taking care of any grain lines that I've accentuated in the texturing process. You can see I'm not going completely straight. I'm varying the angles, which is what is adding splits and changes to these straighter lines that are underneath that were just basically indications of the way the feathers flow. Now that that was laid in, I get to go back and refine the detail, breaking up these straight lines into shorter feathers, feather barbs. I'm always disappointed when I start watching the video after I've done all this work and the bill's in the way of your view. So if that happens, I have to apologize. Try to be very cognitive of that, but it's easy to lose sight, no pun intended, of your view. Be a little more aggressive, you know, when you're coming back and adding these splits to these different feather clump-like areas. Here again, certain areas I just can't get into the way I'd like to. Oh, I'm having trouble seeing. There we go. If you can't see, you better stop and make sure you can find a way to see, because you will carve and carve away in certain areas and come to find that you just created this huge divot you're going to have to put all over the head to make it look right anymore. Area under the bill, hard to get at because of the lower edge of the neck. Things I wanted to accentuate was this back of the cheek area. As it flows into the back of the head. Start getting aggressive, you'll find that you fall into grain lines. So you gotta be a little bit careful of that. So right here. do the same to the back of the other cheek area. And then I'm going to start going after the grain lines. Okay. I'm going to look at some grain lines here. You see one here that just takes a couple of extra little lines to go through and cut through that grain line and essentially make it disappear. See a little bit here. See a little bit here. Just want to push hard through that grain line and let up when it comes to the wood in between. And I'm just going right along the top of that grain line, breaking it up because my tool kind of rode over the top of it and accentuated it. This isn't a bad piece of Tupelo. There are some Tupelo has so much grain in it, it's very difficult to fight, and it's even difficult to sand smooth without a grain line showing. The heavier the piece of Tupelo is, the more grain you're going to deal with. So for me, I like to look for the lightest piece of Tupelo with the whitest, lightest wood, and I find I'm pretty successful in not having to deal with huge grain line issues. I see I missed an area up here right on the top edge. It's important to really go back and inspect your head, the head in the correct light, which means, spinning it around in every direction. Because you can really overlook areas and not realize it until you're sealing it, and then all of a sudden you're just like, oh my gosh, look what I missed. Oh, I need to go back and take care of that. And no one likes working backwards. So if you take the time to really inspect your piece before you think you're done, you'll save yourself some time in the end. There we go. It's amazing. Just a little bit more time can do in bringing a piece to life. So with that, this is the end of this demonstration. I might use this as a painting example. Nothing too exciting about painting a Mallard drake head though. It's pretty straightforward. Maybe I'll do a bill painting demonstration with this. Show you how to really deck out a Mallard drake or hen bill. So, thanks to my sponsor Geschwin for the Power Hand 3 and its wonderful technology. Thanks to SMC Enterprises for the Tornado 1000. It is a wonderful dust collection system everybody should be using through power carves. And thanks for watching.